What's up, Nurse Nook family? Welcome back to the Nurse Nook. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Alexis Nicole. I am currently a NICU nurse. I have a background in ER and briefly postpartum, but now I am in NICU, and it is NICU Awareness Month, and so of course I had to dedicate this month to filming videos about NICU nurses. I have my tea here. My dog decided to join us. Hey Biscuit, we are ready to go. So really quickly before I get into the NICU content, I have a super cool opportunity for you guys. If you guys are already nurses or have some kind of nursing experience, I highly recommend that you guys check out Incredible Health. They are an amazing portal that is made for nurses, and the unique thing about Incredible Health is most of the time you apply to jobs and you sit and wait for someone to reach back out to you. But the cool thing about Incredible Health is that you make a profile and jobs apply to you. And another cool thing is the hiring process is super expedited. So from date of application to date of start working, it's less than like 20 days, which is unheard of. It usually takes like a minimum of a month to 2 months to start working, get hired, go through the onboarding process, all of that. And so that is something super helpful. On top of that, they offer a salary estimator. And so you put in your experience, how many years you have, what area you're in, and they estimate what you should be getting paid. And so this is a way to really make sure you're getting the most for your money and get the highest paid nursing jobs in your area. And to even add to that, they have a blog that has like a lot of helpful interview tips, a lot of tips when job hunting for nursing, and just a whole lot of invaluable resources. This is truly like such an amazing resource for nurses. I have a sign up link down below for you guys. So if you guys are looking to make the most money as a staff nurse, get a cool job in your area, get your dream job, make the most of your nursing career, I highly recommend you check them out. Okay, so what you need to know before working in the NICU. So I've been a NICU nurse for going on, oh my gosh, almost going on 9 months already. Hold on. It is going on 9 months. That is literally a whole pregnancy. I can't believe it's already been that long. That went by really fast. But anyways, have been in the NICU for 9 months now. I was trying to get into the NICU for quite a while. I'm finally here, and I probably will never leave. This is the best job I've ever had. But anyways, the NICU, I love it. Now that I have my feet wet, I've been in it for a while. I've tried to get in it. I know what worked and what didn't work. I compiled a little series of videos for you guys on what to know before getting in the NICU. This video can apply to you whether you're in nursing school, just graduating, or even switching to a new specialty and you're an experienced nurse. It's all the same information. So one of the most important things you need to know before even considering NICU is knowing the level of NICU that you'd want to work in. So before you even think about, is this something for you, you need to do a little bit of research on what NICU is, what they do there, and the different level of NICUs there are, because depending on what level you are in, depends on what your work day, what your career is going to be like, because it differs dramatically. So NICUs can go from level 1 to level 4. Level 1 being the well baby nursery, the healthiest babies that are probably not going to need any kind of hospital admission. That is level 1, all the way up to level 4, critical sick babies, and that is where I work in level 4. So I'll kind of go through the levels just to give you guys a taste of what it's like. Like I said, level 1 is well baby nursery. These babies do not require any extensive medical care. They're kind of just hanging out in the nursery, bottle feeding, what have you. Level 2 is where it gets slightly more critical. Level 2 babies are typically bottle feeders, or they may have an NG tube or may have a G tube. They really just need help with feeding and growing before going home. They may have IVs, may have IV fluids, but no extensive medical care is needed, such as babies are not going to be intubated, babies are not going to have PICC lines, really. These are going to be your more stable babies. Now, level 3 is when it starts to get pretty critical. In a level 3, you can have intubated babies, you can have babies on IV fluids, you can have babies on all types of IV medications, pressors, post-op, or going to surgery, babies born with anomalies. You can have such a wide variety of things seen in level 3. Now, level 4 is all of level 3 plus things like major surgeries. babies born with significant cardiac anomalies, babies on ECMO, babies needing PD dialysis. Now I'm not sure if some level 3s do PD dialysis, that's the peritoneal dialysis. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But from my understanding, it's typically something that is more geared towards level 4. Things like aqueducts, which is a form of aquapheresis. So if you're looking for critical care, level 4 is where you need to be. I did level 2 on orientation, not my jam. I love the critical aspect of nursing. Of course, I don't love sick babies. I don't wish any baby to be sick, but if the babies are there, I like to care for them because I love seeing the babies transform and get healthier and go home. That is like my favorite thing. And being raised in the ER, I'm used to the criticalness and sick patients, and so that is kind of more my jam. That's where I tend to lean towards. And so now that you know the different levels, something that you need to know before going into the NICU is this something you can really see yourself doing long term? NICU is not at all cuddling with babies, you're bottle feeding, it's just all cute. It is not like that. I get a lot of messages like, oh my God, you're so lucky you get to hang out with cute babies all day in the NICU. Yes, I'm lucky because I get to work in the NICU, but that's not all that comes with it. A lot of times I experience death, I experience really sick babies, I experience babies going to foster care, I experience babies with social issues. It is not always a happy environment. It's super happy when babies graduate and go home, but sometimes that's not the case, and it can be very sad. And also parents can be very stressed in the NICU, and so that's something else that you have to deal with, to think about. And so just keep these things in mind if you're going into it thinking that this is just gonna be so cute and you're gonna have so much fun and you love babies and kids, so this is the perfect job for you. It's deeper than that, so make sure that you understand that before thinking to jump into this career. Another thing to think about is the lifestyle. So NICU nurses work in hospitals. There's not an outside clinic that you can work at and be a NICU nurse. Now you can leave the hospital and do like well baby checkups, like a pediatrician's office, but that's not a NICU. NICU is only found in hospitals. NICU stands for Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. I don't know if I've said that already in this video, but an intensive care unit are found in hospitals. And so just keep in mind that if you want to be a NICU nurse, you're most likely going to have to work 12-hour shifts. Most hospitals do 12-hour shifts. And also you're going to be having to work weekends occasionally and holidays, and probably even nights starting off. So these are just things to keep in mind. So moving along, this is another question that I get pretty frequently is, what do you have to do after graduation to become a NICU nurse? And so there is actually no further schooling that you need to become a NICU nurse. Some people think that they have to take another program or like a NICU specific program. It doesn't work like that. As long as you pass your NCLEX, you can potentially go straight into NICU if you get hired into one. Now, something I do recommend, if you're in nursing school, if you're able to take your practicum or capstone in the NICU, that makes a huge difference in getting hired. So if you know that that's something you want to do already, I recommend trying to get your practicum in NICU. Also, if you can volunteer in a NICU as a cuddler, I know with COVID now, some facilities aren't really doing that, but a lot of bigger facilities do offer cuddler volunteer opportunities, which is literally people that go and like hold and rock babies. Also, if you can work as a tech in the NICU, I don't have techs in my NICU at the moment, but from what I know, techs do a lot of like vital signs and feeding babies in NICU. And so these are just little things that you can do to boost your resume and get you in the NICU a little bit easier. Now, if you're looking to get into like a level 4 facility or a critical facility, I do recommend getting your BSN. It's not 100% necessary, but a lot of hospitals, especially bigger magnet hospitals with higher level care facilities, are moving towards hiring BSN prepared nurses. So if that's feasible for you, I definitely recommend it. Also, some things that you can do to also boost your resume are take certification classes or courses such as BLS, which is something every nurse and nursing student should have if you don't already. But something else to boost your resume is NRP. neonatal resuscitation program. That is something that a lot of hospitals offer. If it's not pertinent to your floor, your unit, it's something you may have to pay for. I believe it's offered by the American Heart Association. It's not something that's required by the hospital. A lot of times they're gonna want you to have NRP, but just doing things like that, like having infant CPR on your resume, definitely sets you apart from everyone else that's applying. Because if you are doing things that go above and beyond the requirements, it definitely shows your work ethic. In addition to NRP, I also recommend the STABLE course, STABLE. I took that online. They started offering it online during COVID. That I feel like also made a huge difference in not only getting a job, but also my knowledge of NICU. Oh my gosh, there was so much good information in that course, and it was truly invaluable. Another piece of info I have for you guys is to apply across the board. So NICU is a very competitive field. There's a lot of people that want to work in NICU, and sometimes you may have to go to the outskirts of town. Sometimes you may even have to move if it's that hard to get a job in your area, because NICUs are not as commonly found as other units, like just regular ICUs or adult ICUs. NICUs are kind of a little bit more scarce to find. And so you may have to broaden your search a little bit, especially if you're wanting to work at a level 4, say, and you're not really getting any bites. If you could start at a level 2 and get that experience under your belt and then transfer to a level 4 later, I recommend that. And also, it's important to know that it may take a couple of tries, and don't be discouraged if you don't get a job off the bat. I had a couple years of experience and I still had trouble getting in the NICU, especially because my area has a high population of nurses, and so it was not very easy for me to make my way in the NICU. And so I had to try for a while. I had to put in the work, do the extra courses, take my time with my resume, and just doing things like that to really boost me and boost my chances of getting in the NICU. And finally we're here, and I love it, and I'm so grateful. But anyways, that is the end of the video. If you guys have any tips on NICU, if you guys are NICU nurses and want to share tips below, definitely comment down below, and stay tuned for the next part of the video. It's still going to be a NICU series video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next week.